Hello, I am Jaclyn Steele, and welcome to part 2 of my story in this 5-part series leading up to the release of Didn't Break Me, my single, and also an ebook called Didn't Break Me. Part 2 is called The Realization. In late November, I got the call. It was quite businesslike and matter of fact. Jaclyn, your grandmother fell in the night and broke her hip. She is in the hospital, but she is not healthy enough to be operated on. So we are making her comfortable. Prepare for the end. We will keep you posted. Click. The call ended almost as soon as it began. My grandmother and I were somewhat estranged. After my parents' divorce, she had really disapproved of some of the decisions I had made, and our relationship was never the same after that. Then, as so often happens in life, something I didn't see coming came, and dementia made itself comfortable in her precious little body. We weren't ever really able to discuss what had happened between us. My anger turned to sadness. The last time I had seen her, she didn't recognize me, and it was heart-wrenching. My dad's side of the family is Scandinavian. My paternal great-grandmother was from Norway and my great-grandfather was from Denmark. From what I know, which is admittedly very little, they were hardworking, no-nonsense kind of people. Their pragmatic and religiously conservative ways were passed down to my grandparents and to their 5 children. The result was a crew deeply devoted to God, deeply devoted to service, and from my perspective, deeply devoted to staying quiet about matters of the heart. I've always felt a little out of place. I love my dad's side of the family, don't get me wrong. They are a wicked smart bunch with some big and fun personalities. But after my parents divorced when I was 18, it became glaringly apparent that I didn't fit in. I'm an empath, and I always have been. I feel as deeply as the ocean is vast. It's a huge part of who I am and the impetus behind my art. But in a family where mom is the word, I felt energetically suffocated. It's been a point of tension for many, many years now, and the cause of many, many arguments with my father. You see, I'm the apple cart upsetter. I talk about my feelings in a respectful but a firm manner because I know that if I don't, I'll become resentful and feel like I can't be myself. Feeling like I can't be myself or that I'm not safe to be myself makes me uncomfortable. And being uncomfortable naturally makes me want to avoid spending time with whomever I feel like I'm not safe to be myself with. So my antidote to all of this is talking about my feelings respectfully when they bubble up. And sometimes this works beautifully, and other times not so much. What happened next is one of the latter. My grandmother died, and I felt numb. I went to a yoga class and afterward called my dad to see how he was doing and to check in on funeral details. I could tell from the sound of his voice when he answered that he wasn't himself. He was hurting and agitated, and I should have just told him I would talk to him later and hung up the phone. But I didn't, and neither did he. And what ensued was the worst conversation I have ever had with any human being to date. In the span of 20 minutes, almost 30 years of history were lassoed from the depths and brought to the light. I didn't understand what I had done to hit a nerve so acutely. What was meant to be a tender call turned into a chasm the size of the Grand Canyon with my dad and I on opposing sides. I ended the conversation, eyes blurred with tears, saying, "I love you, but I cannot do this anymore, and I wish you well." After hanging up, I realized that my heart broke that night in a way I didn't know that a heart could break. It wasn't a lost love kind of hurt. It wasn't a missed opportunity kind of discomfort. It wasn't the ache you feel when someone passes away. It was the torturous and slow burn kind of heartache you feel when you realize one of the people you love most will never be able to love you back the way that you love them. I wasn't just tired anymore. I felt broken. Just a few more weeks until Christmas.